everyone, Cody here. Welcome to another video. Apologies for the mess behind me. Again, we're in the process of moving, so we've got a lot of things going. Anyways, the purpose of this video today is I wanted to just kind of spitball and talk about my next fragrance setup that I will have. I'm going to link a video down below where I displayed kind of what my fragrance setup was before. I have my wine cooler, which I've converted into a fragrance cooler, and that housed my fragrances that I can go ahead and keep them cooled at a temperature storage. Now, that worked okay, and reflecting back, there were a couple of problems with this type of setup. The main problem being, with that cooler, unless it's actually at eye level or somewhere around there, like close to where when I'm just standing up, I look in, I actually kept it closer to the ground this time around. And the problem that that produced was fragrances that weren't as easily accessible just naturally did not even come into consideration for me using, right? The way that I kind of got around that is, since I tend to wear fragrances by season, at the beginning of every season I would have a special shelf where I just shifted and went into my fragrance cooler, looked at the fragrances that I typically use for spring or for summer, took out all those fragrances and moved the other ones back into the cooler. So my fragrance cooler ended up being kind of like this storage cooler for my fragrances. Um, this time around, I want to avoid all that. This time around, I want to have whatever my setup is going to be at eye level. I want it very simple and not too involved. And so for that reason, I'm considering a couple things. So what do I have to work with? Well, first off, we're in an apartment right now. Space is at a premium, and so that meant that I had to be very conservative about the space that I had, right? So that's where the wine cooler and the revamped fragrance cooler came into play. But now that I have a lot of space, it's different, right? We're moving into a roughly, I think it's basically a 5-bedroom home. We're moving into a 5-bedroom home, and our master bedroom has this massive walk-in closet. And in that walk-in closet, my wife and I, we've decided to kind of split it up, and we're having this like closet type company come in and customize our walk-in closet so that it's got, our shelves, it's got everything that we want. And part of that, I'm actually thinking of having part of my section be this fragrance kind of like cabinet, if you will, that you open up. It's got shelves on the left, shelves on the right, and it's basically here so I can have all my fragrances in there. I'm going to actually put a link, actually I'll put a picture here so you can actually see what I'm referring to. That's the type of format that I walk in. So when I'm getting ready, I've got my fragrances right there. The other alternative is to continue to use that fragrance or the wine cooler. And when I use the wine cooler, bring it in, end up taking that wine cooler and like putting it in like my office, or even putting that within the walk-in closet. But I'm not as key on that, just because we'll see how it actually works out. Maybe it comes that I have them build like a space for that wine cooler so that I can actually sit it there. But even the cooler itself, I'm not quite sure if I want that to be my setup, because it's very deep, which is good for storing a lot of fragrances, but it's not as good when it comes to browsing those fragrances and deciding what I want to pick out, because everything is very front heavy. Things in the front tend to get more play, right? So I want something that is not as deep, kind of on the shallow end, where I can easily grab one or two fragrances or whatever the fragrance may be and look at my entire kind of collection from there. So yeah, so that's kind of what I'm looking for and angling at with my next new setup. I'm not as key on it being in a wine cooler for the climate control, just because our home, central AC and everything like that, and I plan on using, we're probably going to have a Nest, but using like a Nest or some climate controlled environment to keep our closet specifically probably on the cooler side, right? So it doesn't even keep at the same temperature that the rest of the home normally is, right? Which is perfectly fine. But yeah, so it's interesting. I'm really excited to see what the possibilities are to go ahead and make this setup, but it's one of the things that I am considering in with this next step, if you will, of my fragrance journey. So that'll be interesting to see, and obviously I'll keep everyone updated as it goes. Now, one of the next videos that I actually want to do is, and I got this request, is why I'm moving to Tampa from New York City. What are the reasons? What went into that decision? And I will be happy to share that and, yeah, discuss that. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you, guys. Take care of yourselves. Let me know if you have any suggestions of what you think I might do. Again, keep in mind that it's a pretty big walk-in closet. any suggestions that you have to how you have a setup. And I'm curious to see some of your setups. If you have that, feel free to link that within the chat or send me a message with that, and I'd be happy to see it. I saw some others before that actually looked pretty good. I think, what's his name? Riz Ryan, another reviewer, had actually a really good setup that I liked as well, too. So there's a couple other that I want to take a look. But that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you. Take care of yourselves. You guys have a great day.